In this vanilla WoW video, I will show my farming routes for both elemental earth and fire, which are extremely critical materials, and they're used in the endgame raiding in classic WoW. Greater nature protection potions are a necessity for raiding in Encourage, and the greater fire protection potions will be used immensely in MC, BWO, and Onyxia. Therefore, you're going to need a lot of these two different materials. Also, a quick tip is there's a recipe for alchemists called transmute heart of fire into 3 elemental fires, and this is extremely useful. You need friendly reputation with Thorium Brotherhood, but it's not released unfortunately until a later patch in classic WoW. So elemental earth can be farmed in the Badlands. There's several different locations of rock elementals. The most common is just north of Kargath, but this spot is over farmed for sure by other level 60s, so I follow a route south of Kargath where I'm showing on the map right now. And so I'll go ahead and run the route. I won't be killing any of the rock elementals, but simply just running the route and showing you the path that I take. So you'd want to kill these as you run through this route. So again, this is just straight south of Kargath in the very southwestern corner of Badlands. And these rock elementals are low level 40s. So if you're leveling up and looking for a spot to grind at this level, it's a good spot to do that because not only are you gaining experience, but you're also farming materials that are extremely useful for endgame raiding in classic WoW. So I finish up that first spot and I'll run past all these ogres. So again, Kargath is just down that valley there where my cursor is, and the path we just did was through that little crack and into that valley there, and then we come out right down where the ogres are. And there's a second location here. Looks like in a low-level alliance here, farming. And so this is the second location of these rock elementals. I think there's about 10 to 12 here. Same level. And so depending on your class and your gear, the speed at which you farm these varies, and by the time I finish this section, usually I'll head back to where we started the first circle, and those will be repopped again depending on how fast you're killing these. The drop rate for me seems to be about roughly 10%. You also get a lot of solid stones, which are useful for engineering as well as blacksmithing. And so now I'll just run back to the very start of the location, and that's basically the circle or the route I do for farming elemental earth. Next I'll show you the elemental fire farming route in Searing Gorge. So now we're in Searing Gorge. The start of this point will be a bit southeast from Thorium Point. On the map here you can see where I am, kind of the beginning of the cauldron. And so with my cursor I'll go over the route starting there. We'll be killing the blazing and magma elementals. Both of them drop elemental fires as well as those heart of fires, and that kind of completes the circle. Now I'll show you again. I'll just be running through it. I won't be killing anything. And so we'll head down this path, and this is kind of the first elemental I kill, and basically clear out this area here. Again, both these elementals, the rocks and the fire guys, drop the elemental fires as well as heart of fires. They also drop coal, which is useful for Thorium Brotherhood reputation. So let's kill that guy there. There's 2 guys back here. Try to avoid aggroing these dwarves. They cast a immobilization ability, a net, which is annoying. And so there's 3 down here. You'll learn to kind of memorize the route. And the drop chance on these is fairly good. I want to say it's at least 10%, probably higher. And especially if you're able to get that transmute of the Heart of Fire to the... this is exactly what I was talking about. I wasn't careful and these dwarves put a net on me, so now I have to wait. But yeah, if you get the transmute for the Heart of Fire, it turns it into 3 elemental fires once that patch is released. And that's extremely useful for creating these greater fire protection potions. So now we have to run kind of across out of the cauldron area, and there's a rock elemental there and a fire up the hill here. Oh, it's killed. You do have to be careful because a lot of people are running from Thorium Point into Blackrock Mountain. So if it's a PvP server, you gotta kind of be aware of that. There's a couple there, one in the middle here. And there's 2 just over the path. One in the lower lava and one just on the cliff there. So now we'll run for a little bit, and this route unfortunately is bigger, but I was really happy with the drops that I was getting, the drop rate that I was getting, especially with the Heart of Fire. And I'm also looking for Thorium Brotherhood reputation, so coal is useful to me. Now, depending on your server, all these materials may vary in price. For me, the Elemental Earth were roughly, right now, before AQ is released, 2G a piece. Elemental Fire, upwards of 3, because Molten Core and BWL and Onyxia are all really popular raids right now. So there should be 3 elementals in this area, 1, 2, and the third just on the cliff there. Now I'll head back towards the cauldron. Helps to have a 100% speed mount here, since you'll be running from elemental to elemental basically all over the map. And so the last one before you jump down back into the cauldron should be right there. A couple of lions. Won't be killing them today. So we jump down here, take a bit of fall damage, but it's okay. Kill these 3. There's 2 and a third rock elemental, and we're basically back to where we started. And again, depending on the speed of which you kill these elementals, it can vary depending on your class and gear. For me, by the time I get back to this point, if I'm the only one farming, they've respawned, and there's no downtime when farming this, at least for me. So those were my routes, and I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. Thanks for watching, and see you around in Azeroth.